here on our Henrico campus. Hey, we're located at 2213 National Street, Henrico, Virginia, 23231. You can always check us out on the web at www.your3c.com. Now get your pad, get your pencil, get your paper, and let's get ready to go higher in the praise. Peace.
For taking out some time of your evening this evening to come out and hang out with us tonight. Man, look at this wonderful, wonderful panel of guests behind us. Man, I am so excited that they decided to hang out with me and my guest, man, this whole month. My daughter, man, she is still hanging out with me. I haven't got on her nerves so far yet. If I have, she have not said it.
Well, let me tell you, I was on my nerves tonight. Is these microphones. You see her mic? She cool, like Oprah. And here I am with this other mic, like Gail.
What?
You know? Yeah, so I'm grateful that you all tuned in again tonight for Talk to Me with Miss Karen, First Lady, Co-Pastor Karen White.
Wow. All of those names. But again, I am so grateful that they decided, because they decided, so evidently I have some type of relationship with these ladies that's behind me, whether it's big or small. I have some type of relationship with them, and I'm excited that I do, because some of them I did at a spur of the moment. I asked them, and they said yes. They said yes, and they can't. And I'm once again, I'm excited that they said yes. So I'm gonna get out the way, and I'm gonna ask them, because I don't want to mess it up. I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves, and then Nicole and I are going to come back to tell y'all why they are here. Because I want to give time for people to come on, and then we're going to get started, okay? And we're going to start with Megan, and we're going to ask Megan to introduce herself and tell us what school. That's all I'm going to tell y'all, is that they're going to tell you what school they're from. And then one of them is really not from a school, but she's going to tell you where she's from.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Megan Blunt, and I currently teach at Arthur Ashe Elementary School, which is in Henrico County.
Good evening. I'm Tamandra Payton, and I currently teach at Patrick Henry School of Science and Arts, which is in Richmond City.
Hello. My name is Karen. I am actually running a counseling service for All Family Matters, and I have an outpatient service called Foundation Select Counseling Service.
Hi, I'm Hazel Bell, and I'm a second grade teacher at George Washington Carver Elementary, which is RPS.
Hi, I am Akita Walker, 8th grade civics and science teacher, Hopewell, Virginia, Carter G. Woodson Middle School.
Hello, I'm Sonata Koger, Front Office Administrator for Mary Scott Preschool Center, Richmond Public Schools.
All right, so now you know who these beautiful, beautiful women are, and what school they are from, and what their profession is. So we're going to get kind of right into it. Once again, this whole month is Save Women Rock. Huh? Woo! Save Women Rock, and I am so excited that I am connected. I am connected to these awesome women that are behind me. And what we wanted to do is just because with this pandemic, we had teachers and parents were teaching their kids at home. And
we shouldn't be.
And hey, we had questions. I had people call me, and then, hey, look, I was calling some of them to try to get some answers, because I was teaching this grandson of mine that's in the 7th grade, had some questions and that I did not have the answers to, and I knew that I could always count some of these women behind me that could give me some answers. Because yes, everybody always want to say, man, let's keep it spiritual, let's pray about it. But yes, that is, we can pray about things, but he also says that, wisdom is the principal thing. Wisdom, and sometimes we can pray all about it, but when Zion has a project due and I'm praying, Lord, help me with it, and he can't give me that answer to it right now, I have to call Keita, Hazel, Megan to help me. And then when he kirking out, I have to call Tara and Hazel up. Hey, I need y'all to help me. This pill that he takes is not helping. Can y'all help me, give me some coping ideas to help him be able to cope with this thing, because he is a little antsy in the house. He's been in the house for so long. Right. Look, help me to help him. Because sometimes, that hitting, that whipping, that's not the answer all the time. That yelling is not the answer all the time. And it's not all the time them. It's us, as the adult. And sometimes we need coping mechanisms as well to be able to help them. So I think that these ladies back here can help us, right? So we have questions.
Yeah, we have some questions. Again, just reinforcing what First Lady White said, is that the pandemic hit a lot of people hard. And one of the things that closed first were the schools. The place where most people take their kids for 8 hours a day. So again, I'm a parent as well who had to become a 4th grade teacher overnight, and Michaela might not make it. and so now just understanding and cherishing these moments. And so these are also, not only are all of them somewhere affected by teaching or in school systems, all of them are parents. I had to turn around and make sure. Parents, which means that they're doing dual roles. So just hearing and getting a moment to say, and giving them a moment to say thank you and breathe.
Yes. Because, wait a minute, because this is also Teachers Appreciation Week.
It was last week.
It was. So thank you.
Thank you. So y'all ready for the question?
Yes.
So this is not scripted. It's more, just jump in. So I'm not gonna call a person. If you feel like you have an answer, it is that free. Okay? All right, so what is your plan for closing the gap between this year and next year for the students who did not quite get it during virtual learning?
Well, I can say as far as Hopewell is concerned, as you know, they put out there that this school year student work is not being graded. And I wish they had not put that out there in the atmosphere, because a lot of our students are not joining in on virtual learning. However, the goal is to get them to complete assignments this school year. Those assignments that they are completing this year is just the closure of what they would have learned for the upcoming school year. Again, in Hopewell, our plan is, and it has not been written in stone yet, is to do something called remediation. The remediation, since we are going to year-round schools, and schools are prospected open for us July 27th, I believe, 24th, 27th, one of those days. So we're going to do something, proposing something to do with intercession, because year-round school, they get those breaks. They're called intercession. So intercession could become remediation. During the regular school year, we also have something that's called pride time. Pride time consists of interventions that could consist of math, science, civics, English language arts, and it covers those areas for students who struggle in those areas, and then after-school tutoring.
Okay. Anybody else? I know we have a lot of different districts here.
So I think that, number one, it's important to remember that it's the entire country, it's the entire world that's all going through this. So one thing is, when kids get back to school, it's not like we're going to start them like we would in a normal school year. So I think the first part of the school year is going to be a lot of review. Henrico has a time block already set into the school day where we do intervention and enrichment activities. And I think that block is going to be really important to remediate kids and to help them catch up on things, because there are a lot of kids that are not joining into the Zoom meetings. And it's going to cause a gap, but I think that we can get through it when the school year starts. So I don't want parents to feel like like their kid is missing something because they're not joining in on these meetings. It's gonna be time put in place in the beginning of the school year.
I know for right now, I would encourage parents to utilize the resources that's out. For RPS, you can go on the homepage for Richmond Public Schools. There are a lot of resources out there. A lot of teachers are still reviewing and teaching. Our superintendent is doing math lessons, and he's posting it on the homepage. Connect with your teachers to utilize the resources the kids were using in the classroom setting. I know Clever is big. If you have laptops, you can go on Clever to continue the learning. For next academic school year, just like Megan said, it's going to be a lot of assessments. It's going to be data driven, just to see where our babies are,
Right.
and then make a decision there, what to reteach or what to teach. And we do have a intervention period that's already set aside.
Okay.
So teachers will utilize the intervention period to teach and reteach.
Okay.
Okay.
It's crazy because now RPS, unlike all other systems, are just getting computers, right? So now virtual learning is something totally different for that class of kids across especially elementary school. You know, most middle school and high schools probably had some type of access. The elementary school kids to now be learning on a computer, there's a gap. And so I guess a lot of parents, a lot of feedback that I had gotten even when they knew that we were going to be doing this was, is my kid going to be prepared? You know, so I'm glad to know that there are things already this year being put in place for them for next year. I did just notice on the news that they said something, it was a question asked about year-round school. What are your thought processes? I know someone already does year-round school. So those who are not, after Monty speaks, what do you all think about the idea of that for your system?
So I work at a public charter school. It's the only one. It was the first elementary one in Virginia, and it's the only one in Richmond City. And we have been on a modified year-round schedule since we started, and I love it. I've taught in a non-traditional, in a traditional, schedule, and now moving to the non-traditional. I really appreciate the breaks because I don't get overwhelmed as I have in the past, and it really works for me, and we've seen the growth every year with our students in not having the 3-month break. They, in fact, only have about 6 weeks of a break. The teachers have about 5, and we go for our 9 weeks, and we have a break at the end of every quarter. And so that break consists of either 2 weeks or 3 weeks at Christmas, and during that time, as Keita mentioned, they have an option for remediation, and we also do enrichment. So if your student is already ahead, they have options for enrichment programs. If they need a little assistance, we can recommend them for remediation. And we have a program in place that's called Excel, which is similar to what you said with the pullout, where students who are needing assistance can get pulled out during that Excel time every day. So don't be concerned. Your students will get what they need. We are always there pushing them to where they need. And myself, I will just probably change my expectations. You go in with certain expectations starting this school year, but knowing what you're working with coming in this school year, you're going to have to change the expectation a little bit. So we'll get your babies where they need to be.
I know Nicole has, let me tell you this, Nicole has questions that we have, but I'm also getting inbox in some questions. So I have a specific question for Ms. George. Is pertaining to a parent saying that mentally they don't know how to deal, like where do they go because so many places are closed, like they need suggestions mentally, like how can they deal with this, like they love their child but they don't know how to teach their child, like how can I get a mental break, like give me some practical suggestions, like what can I do?
Well, I'm just going to go off the cuff because I would need to really get a little bit more detail about their home setting.
Okay.
So originally I would ask them to always set a schedule.
Okay.
So that's one of the things that was planted across the board because right now they're not in school. They're staying up all night, sleeping all day. So getting in front of what computer, eating all the food, so it becomes an issue, and that in itself creates frustration, probably not following any plan. So like you said, the children were out of the house 8 hours a day. Now they're in the house all the time. So I believe if they really stay to a routine like they originally have, and I know in your mind you're thinking, oh, how can I do that? But it's possible. No, you're not sleeping till 12, 11 o'clock. Get up, brush your teeth, get your clothes like you traditionally would do. Go ahead and sit in front of some type of computer, get a book or something, and then you have your breaks in between the time. Let them eat their lunch. Give them a little break time because you know it's just them one, opposed to like you're teaching a class and you have 20 kids, that teacher have to spend maybe 5 hours to get one thing taught to all those kids. Right. But if it's one person, you probably can get 30 minutes and they can catch it. So technically, spend the morning time to do school time. Let them have a little break and do some type of physical activity or hobby or something towards the evening and let it be traditional. That's the first thing. So now that the child is there all day with you, it's not just about the child. What are you going to do while they're learning?
Yeah.
So everybody has to do something. So one of the things that we recently did, because we're still operating, and we do telehealth. So we have parents, we keep our appointment as usual. Literally, usually. I mean, they're calling in, FaceTime, and they all got computers, and we'll sit there and do sessions with them. So because the non-traditional is not 45 minutes now, we really do like 90 with them. And then we work with the family and the child, but it's scheduled. The schedule and the setting is the best piece. That starts some comfort. It's not the whole answer, but it'll start.
Okay.
And you'll see what's not working and what is working, and then what's not working, you look and see how can you improve it.
Okay.
Always change it daily.
I would have to say I totally agree. I have a high schooler. He's a freshman in high school. During the school year when they were in class, they actually shared grades with me today. Their in-class grades versus their virtual grades. My high schooler started to fail. So I started to make him take a shower, put his uniform on, and sit at the table with his laptop. His grades changed. Him laying in the bed, like kind of lollygagging through his Zoom class versus getting up, being present, shifted his whole mental because now I have to be present. So I'm here, mentally I'm here, versus the stand up till 3 in the morning. Some of us are essential workers, so some of us still had to go to work. I can't see you from work, so I'm assuming that you're in class. So I definitely agree with schedule and getting up and being in routine.
And I think part of what we do in Hopewell, we went from the digital learning when we started March 16th up until around the 24th or the 27th prior to them going on spring break. We came back April 14th and we started virtual learning. So they meet, Google Meet. Their schedule is every day from 11 to 11:25. I'm 8th grade, so 11 to 11:25, we're in civics and economics. From 11:30 to 11:55, well, let me take that back. From 11 to 11:25, we are in science, 8th grade physical and earth science. From 11:30 to 11:55, civics and economics. From 12 to 12:45, they are in English language arts, Google Meet, and they have a break from the last core class to engage the technology classes. Also, I think it's band or something like that. And then at the ending of the day, at 2 o'clock is their math. So they have a schedule, but again, like I said, when we put out in the atmosphere that the assignments weren't going to be graded, we should not have said that. That would have pushed our students to get up and continuously follow the schedule. School for us was 7:20 a.m. And so by 7:25, we were doing our homeroom advisory. And now, as you stated, our babies are not getting up because we said, you passed for the year. Your work is not going to be graded. That's the downfall because they're not getting up. They are all up all night long. We're calling parents and, hey, your baby didn't log into class, or we call the home and the kids are saying, oh, you're interrupting my class time, my game time, click. So we should encourage. Our babies are out of school for 5.5 months. It's going to look like we're going to the summer break. And it's redundant to think that from March 16th until they go on break June 12th, that they should not be doing anything during those times. Well, virtual learning is taking place. And there are these assignments that are being posted that's engaging for our students. It's not like the normal classroom. However, a lot of our parents are going through that process. Well, my kid said the work is not being graded, so why do they need to get up?
So is that across the board that nobody has to do work? Is that I've heard so many different stories from different areas. So is it that high schoolers have to do their work and that count as credit? Or is it elementary school, or is it nobody?
In Henrico, if you are taking a high school level course that requires a credit, then you are required to complete assignments. But if you are not, so that's elementary and middle school, middle school students, then they are, these are considered review and enrichment activities. However, we are on the elementary level teaching new content. So I try to stress to my parents now, as of the first week in May, we began teaching new content. So I called every parent, I explained how important it was. Even though we will review this, because we do understand some kids just cannot get on for various reasons, but we try to encourage them that they should. But yeah, it's high school level.
So
courses.
teachers are still literally working.
10 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m., Monday through Friday.
Am teaching.
I still
And-
teach, but I only do 2 days a week.
Same here.
So
2 days a week?
Yes, so we're not, it's not required. We do check in. We do make sure our babies have their computers and what they need, also food. We still distribute food bags to our families. We sent out a packet when school was out. And even if you need more work, please contact your teacher and the principal. We still do, like I said, check in, but right now teachers are trying to do virtual learning with the laptops right now.
So I'm not trying to be, please don't take this wrong. I'm not trying to be devil's advocate, but just because you're sending out food, but is that considered your teaching because you're making sure they're eating and all of that? But are you literally, because like middle school, like I literally don't feel that some of the middle school students are getting what they need.
Correct.
I have a middle school student that I'm looking at, and I'm not throwing shade, but I don't see it. I don't see the teaching getting to the middle school student like I see people saying that the elementary school students are getting.
I have a middle schooler, and I teach elementary. So I can say I feel similar that the level of teaching is a little bit less. His teachers are posting things, so I will say that, but it is more of a game format, and it's to gain their interest.
Okay.
Because as you know, and you just said, middle schoolers are a little different.
Okay.
And so trying to engage them and make it not the same as a normal classroom setting.
Okay.
But it is including the work and the assignments that they should know. It's in a review format, but it's also in a game format to make it fun, something that they want to do. And I know most of his teachers are posting things that they have a week to complete it. So each week they'll complete, or they'll assign a new lesson for them to complete.
So are teachers against, so say if a teacher is not really posting stuff on their Zoom, but I see one of my child's friends' teacher is posting a lot, so I want him to be involved in that because I see that he's interacting in that. So are you against that? But at least he's getting the learning, even though I know it's not what his teacher is doing. So would y'all say, should you be against that?
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
I can only speak from my experience.
Okay.
My son, I don't have this happening in my class, but my son's class, there are 2 kids where they were like in the middle of a move. And so now they're here in Virginia and they don't have a school yet. So they join in with this teacher's class because they are in 2nd grade.
Okay.
And I'm not against that either. I think as long as the kids are engaged in some type of academic skill on a day-to-day basis, Monday through Friday, or Monday through Thursday. You do whatever works for you. But as
Okay.
long as they're engaged, it doesn't matter who's teaching them.
Okay.
Sonata had a
As it pertains to the academics, as for our preschool students, I know I'm in the administrative position. However, they are doing registrations at this time, and I know that they're saying that they're missing out. But everything that they're getting in preschool, they will get again in kindergarten. However, all of our preschool teachers have segments. So for 2 weeks, you have a group of teachers from one center who is doing hands-on. They're contacting the parents and say, okay, we're zooming in, and laptops and hotspots will be distributed to all preschool students next week, beginning on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week from 10 a.m. until 3. And you can get them from your child's zone preschool.
That's just in the city. That's
In the city. I'm sorry. Yes, that's for Richmond City. They'll be receiving their laptops and hotspots starting next week. We have teachers who are doing segments. They're doing segments daily. They're doing the alphabets. They're doing their colors. They're doing rhyming words, different things to that extent. We are asking that for your Richmond City parents, if you have not chimed in to say that you need the hotspot or you need the laptop or you need the tablet, please call the 780-4677, 780-4677, and speak to anyone who answers the phone. They're just going to ask you what your address is, how old your child is, and then you can get on the list to get the laptop. But your child must be 4 years old by September 30th. 4-year-olds by September 30th to receive these benefits.
and this is RPS.
This
just
is
reminding
this
people.
is RPS. Also, if you are in need of food, if you're in need of toiletries and things to that extent, when you call that number, let them know those things. They are making those things available for Richmond City preschool students. That number again is 780.
They got Clorox wipes,
We do.
because I'm going to call with a preschool.
Let her do that number again. Do that number.
That number
again.
is 780-8477. 780-8477.
Okay, question. If you were a leader of the school board, during this, what would you have done different?
I would not have said that the activities were optional. We started off really strong in the very beginning. The first maybe 2 weeks, parents were like really energetic about it. The kids were excited about getting on and just getting to see their classmates. But the minute that it was said that assignments were optional or joining Zoom was optional, we saw less and less. It's starting to pick back up now, but we had so much wasted time. So I would have said, and not necessarily graded, because I do believe that there are a lot of parents that are not able to provide that time that some kids are getting. But making it optional made it seem like I can choose to, or I'm on summer break now, so I'm good. So,
And that's what a lot of kids thinking, that they are still on vacation. What happens is they lose, as Megan said, they're going to lose so much of instructional time. They're off of their schedules. They don't have a daily routine, and that's going to eventually impact them during the 2020-2021 school year. So they're going to come back again with a lot of skills. A lot of remediation is going to have to take place, and it's sad because for my students, they're going to high school. And high school looks a lot differently than 8th grade. It looks different than middle school because they're on these 4x4 blocks. They're not understanding that if I don't complete this coursework in a matter of, say, 18 weeks or the first semester of the school year, if I don't pass those classes, then guess what? I don't get the opportunity that school year to complete them. They carry over into my 10th grade year. Now I'm in an overload. I'm now trying to play catch up. So I'm falling behind right now and putting out there that this is not graded. It's not graded, but it counts as the coursework or the completion. So our baby's going to suffer a little bit.
But middle schoolers who are taking high school credit classes still have work to do, correct?
Correct.
Correct. So eighth graders who are still, and that's across the board, not just one county, that's everybody. So if you have any eighth graders who are taking advanced classes, which I feel like the notice for Henrico just went out last week, that they need to be doing work, and it's going towards their grade for their classes if they want to use those credits for next
High
year.
school credits, exactly.
Yes.
Now, Henrico does allow those parents to opt out.
Oh, at this point.
Correct. So there's a deadline, sometime in June, but if you want to opt out, they are not counting it against you.
Okay. Okay.
I have a question, if you don't mind. So I'm at the end of my session as far as me being in school, and I was going to my campus. So since I've gotten out of school, nothing has changed. We're literally in class. All 20 of my classmates and my teacher, we're literally on the computer, and it's called My Teams. My question to y'all educators, I'm not even sophisticated. I have the hardest time. Why can't y'all do that? Like, why can't they let each class set up a team and let the kids come in and they teach them as if y'all are in the class? What keeps them from doing that? Or is that
Person?
an option? No, ma'am, on the computer. Like right now, my class was at 5:30. I'm on class from 5:30 to 10:30. We literally go in, we sign into what we call a campus or a Blackboard. You click on the link that the teacher sends you, you open it up. You see the teacher and every last one of my classmates is right there. You can talk, you can stop, you can pause, you can do your assignments, you can upload it, she's typing, sending the messages. Everything is on this computer. But prior to that, I was in school. But that's how it's now. So what's keeping the counties I'm just asking.
Well, again, like I said, with my school division, we have Google Meet every day, Monday through Friday. So all of our students have the link to their classes according to their scheduled block. And then, let's say this week we have 3 assignments for civics and maybe 2 for science. The other 2 or 3 days during that week are considered feedback days. So we have to literally go in, assess, look at each of the students' assignments that they've completed or submitted for, return for us to review. We give them feedback. It's as if they're in the actual classroom setting, turning in homework. So we'll go in, critique what they've done, give them that feedback, and then they go back in and they're actually completing or redoing the assignment. So that's just for Hopewell. That's what we're doing at the middle school level. So they have virtual learning that, like I said, takes place every day, Monday through Friday. They're online with us. Their scheduled times are from 11 o'clock a.m. until 2:45, 3 o'clock. Some of the additional things, like for me, I meet with a student one-to-one Mondays and Wednesdays in Hopewell, and we go through the hands-on learning together because that's what works best for him. I have an English teacher, collab teacher. She has an additional time on Mondays and Wednesdays set aside for the normal schedule where she works from 3 to 3:30 with students who are struggling with anything in English language arts. So I can't address other school divisions, but I just know what we do.
So
But I think it
Hopewell
was
is not.
resource-
So Hopewell is not basically shut down.
We're shut down as far as the
building, but
yes,
your learning.
But learning is taking place every single day.
But I think it was resources.
I was gonna
It was
say,
a bigger
yeah,
picture
resource.
for why they didn't do in class, and then they're still just giving out resources now. So it wasn't, I don't think that and I'm just jumping in and y'all can correct me, teachers, but I think the bigger thing was that there was not a resource for the entire school population. So then it would be like maybe 4 kids who had computers, and maybe the other 4 didn't. So we're still missing 4 kids who are not. But they're just, elementary school kids are just getting computers in the last 2 weeks. You know, so I think that was the reason why they didn't do the in-class, but it's now set up. Some of the classes are still doing Zoom, and their teachers are sitting in there like, hey, and doing class lessons. Another issue as a mom is I'm not at home. So even if me having an elementary school kid, to get my middle schooler who's also sitting in class, to get his sibling on the computer, you know, I think it was logistics.
I would say resources as well as accountability. We have to keep in mind that these are children. They're going to do what they can get away with what they can get away with. So if you don't have that parent that's going to say, okay, get up, get to the computer or whatever. So that's one of the things that I'm thinking we're going to get better at, because we're being awarded these resources. There are some other resources coming in as it pertains to grants and things coming to Richmond City for computers and things like that that's in the making. But also having those parents to say, okay, I need you to get up, make them get up and be accountable for what it is that they're supposed to do.
So is Henrico, I see we said that Richmond City is doing sign up for preschool, but is Henrico doing for preschool? Is that
Yes.
sign up coming up too?
It's across the board. Registration is going on now across the board for Richmond City as well as Henrico.
Okay, okay,
For preschool, yes.
okay.
So for those of you who are parents as well as teachers or even administrators, how have you balanced having two different needs? Meeting the need of your students in classroom, also meeting the needs of your children and make sure they're getting their things done. How have you balanced those things?
Every day is a challenge. Every day is a new day. And today was a rough one. So I said we got another opportunity to make it better. It is challenging. However, I think creating a schedule is the most important thing. The first couple of weeks, I kind of allowed them to get on when they wanted to, get the assignments done. However, I was going crazy once I had to start providing my own classroom time. So creating a schedule and having them stick to it. They change their schedule all the time. I even allow them to choose. You can do your work in the morning or you can do it after lunch. But this allotted amount of time, 2 hours, is what you need for work, including 30 minutes of reading. So creating a schedule is what has saved me. It is challenging during class meetings, and I think that's for anybody that's working from home, not just teachers. It's hard to balance that, but when you are actually working, it's important for your kids to actually see the schedule, and you have to be consistent with it. You can't do a schedule one day and then not do it the next, because they'll take advantage of that.
I could speak to my situation is a little more relaxed because we did have a lot of autonomy we didn't have a requirement to teach, and definitely it was totally up to us. So me teaching was my choice, and I picked the 2 days that I felt worked best for me. So I teach on Mondays and Fridays, and I like to sleep. So we sleep in every day. And then I gave my son options as well to choose, what time are you going to get it done? Again, it didn't matter when, unless you had a scheduled Zoom time. And we made sure, and I would go in there with him. And of course, he's like, Mom, get off. And I'm like, no, I need to see what's happening in case I have questions. So I think me being there for him, he knowing that I was going to sit in, he's like, oh, well, I don't have a choice. I have to do this. And then also making sure that I understood the expectation of him so that I could be in his corner. So I kind of set my schedule around him, if that makes sense. But I also just told him, as long as this work gets done, get it done. Basically, that's how it was. But during the mid part of the week, as far as my teaching goes, that's the time that my students have an assignment to do from week to week. So on Mondays, I focus more on reading, Fridays more on math, and we integrate science and social studies throughout our practice anyway. So that middle week time is when they have time to work on the things, send me questions if they need to, and then I give them feedback on the days when we meet. But I think the balance, it just works different for everyone's household, I would say.
Ms. George, I know you spoke. I need you to say the name of your business with your microphone up, because I don't know if they got that at the beginning.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
All Family Matters.
And are you all taking new people, or have you seen an influx of people just needing help? Because again, as a mom, although I'm working, the reality is we have never had to be with our kids for 8 hours a day, 24 hours a day in our reality, where they can
Right.
talk back and ask us stuff. And it's different when it's a bunch of other kids, but never has a parent endured this place. And so mentally, without them putting the baby in the washing machine or the dryer or the sink or whatever, what have you seen exactly? what have you seen, or what are some tips for that place?
I'm gonna be real honest with you. I haven't seen much different.
Oh, that's great.
That's good.
This level, meaning it's up and high and lows. The population that we work with, we are very intense with them. So the things that we see now, I can only say it's happening because of the pandemic. I can't say it's not happening. It's an array of things. So when it comes to people coming, the only faulty we have right now is they can't come into the office for me to do an intake. So if they call, I'm gonna have to do the whole logistics of getting them established over the phone, and that's so impersonal.
Right.
You know, because you want to come in, you want to have a talk, you want to have a conversation, and then you have to talk to this person, this person, this person. But I do suggest that they still call, because like the local CSBs that still operate, we have to. There's no ifs, ands, buts about that part.
So they still have access to
Oh, yes,
help.
ma'am. Okay.
Okay.
There's so many people out here right now, and I don't have a list, but I can get it for you. If you call on the back of your insurance card, they're still operating. Telehealth is right now where it's going to be. Like I was telling a colleague today, once this pandemic is over, you know how many therapists are going to stay that way? Mm-hmm. They're going to stay that way because it has gotten very convenient. You can sit there, you can pop, you can see, and then especially with the psychiatrists, they can do that. So they can reach out to their local CSB, and then they will make referrals, and then usually they give them a list. And then, of course, I can give a couple of agencies that are seeing them. As far as like outpatient services, that's across the board. It's still operating. It's the only like the mental health skill building or intensive in-home. That's where the trickiness is going to be, because
Right.
at this point in time, unfortunately, the resource or the paying of the insurance, they're only going to allow us to do 1 hour.
Oh, wow.
So it's up to that, but I can honestly say, and thank you for that advertisement, my workers, they're not afraid. They're still going out. They are going out. They're being very safe. I make sure they get their wipes. We give them hand sanitizer. Everybody got masks. They carry masks with them, because then somebody gets to their car and say, hold up, I got a mask for you. So we're making sure that they're doing everything. We take temperatures, all that, and we're asking them, are you feeling any different today? But I mean, you do it within close quarters and your social distancing. I'll get you to the store. You can't ride in my car today, but you're getting back.
Right.
Little things like that. And at some point in time, if you know you're working with somebody and you're helping them, you know, cleanse and tell them to wash their hands at some point in time, we decreasing it. Not saying it's not going to happen. Pray about it. That's all I can tell you. I don't know
Understood.
else. But as far as a parent who's home with their child all the time, I'm going to ask, they're going to have to get real creative and take time for themselves. The weather has been very beautiful lately.
It has.
It has. So being
So
outside.
let's work to your-
Oh,
yeah.
most definitely.
Yeah.
I have group homes, and I don't let my residents go anywhere. My backyard is a straight up Dory Park right now.
I know
We got
this.
a dartboard, we got basketball hoops, we got the sand thing. They're walking around, we do everything, and they look forward to doing it. We had a birthday parade today for one of my employees. They was taking part and everything, driving up and down. So you have to get real creative and step out your norm. And if you don't know, talk to other people. Go onto YouTube. That is my friend. You find different activities, different things to do. You can make it happen.
So for everybody, how has your faith been tested in this season? Mine hasn't. When we went out, someone sent me something, shared something with me on Facebook, and it was COVID, and it's Christ over infectious viruses and disease. Christ over infectious viruses and diseases. And one of the scriptures they gave me, and I actually wrote it down, Joshua 1:9, it says, have not I commanded thee, be strong and of good courage, be not affrighted, neither be thou dismayed, for Jehovah thy God is with thee, whithersoever thou goest. And so we're looking at, when I look at affrighted, I'm looking at something, a state of terror, or an occasional by some unexpected and startling occurrence. And so this worldwide pandemic is something that has startled everyone, but it didn't stop me from living the norm. Like, I didn't go out there because I'm used to, I call my mom Better Homes and Gardens, so I'm Better Homes and Garden Part 2. So I didn't have to go out there to get all this toilet paper or bleach or all these disinfectants. It's a norm, but it pushes you to a place that you have to look at reality, that these are things that God said will take place before the Son of Man return. And so I'm paying attention to those things, but it's going to elevate my faith. I'm either going to trust in God, or I'm going to walk around where I can't be in close quarters with someone else. So he didn't give us a spirit of fear. So why am I walking around in fear? Why can't I speak life
over every circumstance and situation that's taking place. And in the midst of it, find out the ministry. God, what is it you want me to gain in? What's the insight? What's your purpose for my life? And how do I make a difference when it comes to my students? Because when we went out on March 13th, and I think I shared this with a pastor, I woke up one night. I love kids. I love my teenagers. That's just me. It's always been me. But I thought about not knowing that the governor was going to, things are going to be shut down. I didn't think of it at that aspect when we first went out on March 13th. I just saw it as schools being closed, not businesses, not parents having to now be at home with their children. I thought about, oh my God, what's going to happen to our babies? Because I was already disturbed by the sex trafficking. Children going to school, being snatched up out of their front yards, or on their way home from school, somebody drive by and snatching your kid. So when I woke up in tears, crying, that bothered me, because my mindset is, what is going to happen to these babies? And you know how teenagers are. If you get on their nerves long enough, they're going to say, all right, just go ahead on outside, leave me alone, or whatever the case may be. Well, no one is attending to them. No one is focusing on what's going on outside. And so when I let my guards down, the enemy has every opportunity to come in and take advantage of our babies, even if it's in the home. If you got your friends or people who don't have the right intentions, or your friends, their friends hanging out in your household, you don't know what's going on. Bible said, what is it? We have to be watchful as well as praying.
You know, I don't
and so I'm sitting there and I'm thinking,
you know that one, right?
like that has been the most pressing thing for me, is someone watching out for our babies, someone caring for them if there isn't a trusted adult that's around. And so they're out there in the community doing whatever they choose, and mom, dad come home, well, where's your brother? Where's your sister? And you're trying to figure out if they're at the neighbor's house and that type of stuff. Now, as I look at it, it's more of the social emotional aspect, because of feedback days for our Google Meet is where our students get to communicate with their peers they haven't seen.
Yeah.
Or them telling us, man, Ms. Walker, look, I can't take no more. And for me to say, well, you know what I need you to do right now? I just need you to breathe. I need you to inhale, and I need you to exhale. And I need you to do that again. I need you to inhale, and I need you to exhale. I just need you to breathe. I don't want you to focus in on completing this task or this lab today. That's all I need. And so I take every opportunity that's given to us to just speak life. I mean, I think that's me in life. I want to impact the lives of our young people. And like I said, our teenagers, they're social beings. So at this moment, can you imagine what they're going through emotionally?
I do. They at the house. Socially, emotionally bothering me.
Yeah, so it's just no fear. It's, God, what is it? What's your purpose for my life during this time, this moment?
Anybody else?
I don't think that I have the fear of the pandemic. I do have the anxiety of the pandemic. I never really realized how much I need my babies every day to come in my office and hug me, or I come to the class and we want to play a little bit, until I couldn't do it. And was like, okay, I'm going outside anyway. I'm going to the building anyway. I know it's nobody there, but I needed to do that just for myself. So then I started doing some extra things like calling my parents. Well, let me see them on a FaceTime, or let me see them on a Zoom or whatever. And they're like, Ms. Colga, they sleep. No, wake them up. Why they sleep? It's 1 o'clock. Wake them up. So I think for me, it was more so the anxiety of not being able to, and I also don't like to be told what to do. So you can't go outside. You don't tell me what to do. So I had to go outside. I want to go outside anyway. But the social emotional part of it plays a big part for me, being able to see my babies, because we never know what our babies are coming from when they come into our building. So we always try to make sure it's a safe haven for them. So for them to be at home for all this time, some of them not being talked to well, or maybe not eating like they should,
That's
or
real.
outside at all times of the night, and nobody to say, okay, come in here. So for those 8 hours that they're there, we know that they're safe. So to be able to not be able to have that security of them, and then we have those who are like our flight babies that we like, okay, we're gonna call and check on just because we know what the circumstances are as it pertains to their household. And then not getting the answer. So, oh my God, like what? Now that's where my fear comes in. What has happened? Why isn't anybody answering the phone? So then I go to Jackson Ward and I knock on the door, or I go over to Fairfield and knock on the door. Say, hey, where the babies at? Why you at my door? I just want to see the babies, because I just need to see them, just to make sure that they're okay and things of that nature. So for me, it was more so of the anxiety of not being able to move, to just have to be still.
Anybody else?
I would agree. Teaching is just, it goes beyond being a teacher. We fill in the gap.
Understood.
We are mothers to our students. We are grandmothers, aunties, big sister, even with our male teachers, fathers. They play the father role, uncles. We fill in the gap when it comes to our babies. So I agree, it's the anxiety, because now is, what are my babies doing? So yes, it's calling and making sure they have everything they need. So when I mentioned before with the food bags, that is important, because some of my babies, they don't eat. Mm-hmm. They were eating at school. Teachers, we have snacks in our drawers and juices because we may sneak some in the kids' backpacks before they get on the bus, just to make sure they have something to snack on overnight until they get back to us the next day. So no, my faith was not tested, because I know God knows the end. He is the beginning and the end. However, I ain't worried about my babies because I can't hold them. I can't see them every day. I can't touch them. I can't, fix anything. We are nurses, we're doctors when it comes to our babies. Right. We wipe tears, we put Band-Aids on their scratches. We are everything to our students. So, yes, it's the anxiety of just not knowing.
If you could have prepared differently, what would you have done? If this was a thing, which is not, but if it was a thing, even for business, if this was, even for an administrator, how would you have prepared them, and including your clients and including your babies? How would you have prepared them, or even yourselves, for this moment?
I think I would have had a plan B, which is virtual, or having some type of connection just in case we can't meet in school. I know for me, I did not know that we were going to be out for the rest of the academic school year. So if I could have prepared better, it would be just having a plan B, just in case something like this happens. Now I know moving forward, our babies have computers now. So if we cannot get back into the school building, we can connect to them online.
Yeah, and I'm in agreement with Hazel. Virtual learning. Your classrooms, when we do return, it's not going to look the same. It is going to be more virtual learning. So one of the things that I'm agreeing with, and we're talking with our lead teachers, just putting stuff out in the atmosphere, that when we do return to class, we want to do more virtual learning. As they're stating, there's a possibility that this thing will come around for the second time during the flu season. So some of what our school division, some of our lead teachers, I've spoken to one, is that we're already in the phase 2 planning for this pandemic again. They haven't, again, like I said, a lot of stuff is not etched in stone yet, but they have already started planning for the phase 2. And again, virtual learning, that's the key. Our babies have to get used to it, because this is what it's going to look like.
My plan B for if it came back around was, one, to grab a hold of our parents. I have a lot of parents who do not have the educational background to teach their children. So again, to push GEDs, things like that, to better prepare them for something as important as this. We have them texting, we have them calling saying, I don't know how to get online. They know how to do Facebook, but they don't know how to get on a Zoom meeting so that their child can watch to be educated.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
to better prepare our parents to make sure that they have some of the tools to equip our boys and girls in pushing forward to move to their next. And then also encouraging them. It's okay, because they're so prideful. It's okay if you don't know. Say you don't know,
Yeah,
so that you can get the help that you need. It's okay. It's okay. We're going to help you to get the things that you need as well. So not only are we here for your babies, but for us, we're here for your babies, but we're here for you as well. So I make sure I establish a relationship with my parents as well as my boys and girls, and letting them know, look, okay, so you couldn't read that. Call me. So here's what we're going to do. Show it, take a screenshot of it, because you know how to do that with your phone, and let me read it to you. And then do a little lesson with them. How many words on there you already know? Say those words. And then throw in some extra ones to better prepare them for these times like this. So that will be my plan B, to better equip my parents.
As far as my plan B would probably be to adopt some of the things that I have business-wise for my group home. As you know, we're required to have at least 21 days worth of food at all times. I think that's something we can kind of implement with our families, and not necessarily have to be like meats, but like canned foods and things like that, soap and things. I'm a couponer. I try to teach them, and they be like, no, just do it for me. And me being me, I do. Not no more. So just to teach them how to do things like that and make it happen. And then as far as our business is concerned, I can think, I'm good. When I say I'm good, I had one, my employees came and said, just furlough me. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And she was like, please, just furlough me. Because that unemployment money looked real good right about now. I'm serious. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. But I honestly can say I held on. And that was the part that really, if anything, about anxiety, I was not worried about it, but more so my employees, they came up. We are very close. They was like, we're going to get paid. I said, trust me. I'll let you know if you ain't getting paid, but you will. So I'm confident that that's going to happen, and that's the way it works. If you're working, you get paid. So I'm blessed. I can't have no complaint. No.
I would say, and I've continued to say this since that day, that I would have spent that last day differently with my students, because we spent a lot of time meeting. We had the kids in small groups doing whatever, but we were putting together this packet to make sure that they had all the things that we would have taught over those 2 weeks in some fashion or format, and we haven't touched that packet since that day. So I would have definitely spent that last day with my students differently, just been more personable with them, and just spent more time in their space versus making copies and putting together a packet of papers, not knowing that I wouldn't see them in 2 weeks. And I definitely would have prepared them. We were one-to-one already with computers. All of our 3 through 5 students have laptop access, so they all were familiar with using online things because we would do some of that, but just some of the different sites that we have come into knowledge of now, I would have made sure that they were better prepared to use them. And like Sanada said, the parents having had some time to focus on making sure that the parents understood the expectation that was, of them to help their students be prepared for this. So.
And I think I agree. I would have also spent my last day differently. Henrico had already prepared packets for our students. But when you arrive to school and you expect to see a classroom full of kids, and you only see, it makes me sad. I remember that day, I may have had 12 kids and I have 21. So that was when the anxiety set in that, oh my gosh, this could really be a big deal. And where are all these other kids? How are the parents preparing them? So we became very anxious, and I felt like we were putting a lot of pressure on the kids. Like, oh, we have to finish this right now because we may not see you in 2 weeks. You've got to take this quiz today. And I just wish we would have spent more time preparing them emotionally. I hear a lot of parents, they all have my phone numbers. Parents call me all the time, and they are constantly saying, I don't know what to do. He's drained. We're sick of each other. And right. And it's because they feel so much pressure. And I tell them, just don't do the work. It is okay to take 1, 2, or 3 days off and not do the work. Not 4 or 5. But it is okay. And I do that in my own household. If I wake up and in the morning we're not doing things right, I'm like, forget it. Let's go outside. Y'all ride bikes, do something. But I just wish I would have prepared the kids emotionally to know that they may not see their friends again, or they may not see me again. Yeah. And also, I think we need to spend more time in the schools doing events that allow the parents to see what's happening in the classroom. Because the kids they all know how to work these websites and things like that, but they get over on their parents. So
I don't know my login.
I don't know my login. I can't tell you how many. Right, and I'm saying we log into that computer every single day, probably 3 times a day. I know he knows his login. So I wish that we spent more time, or I hope that now we spend more time with the kids and the parents doing activities and getting an eye into the classroom to see these are the things that we do, so that you can be prepared. Hopefully this doesn't happen again.
And also to keep in mind that I know a lot of my children are being raised by grandparents, older grandparents who don't have access or don't know how. So to be able to give them the tools and things that they need to better service their children.
I'm sorry, I just walked through the thing. I know if Pastor saw me, he just probably having a whole heart attack right now. So as we are closing out, I've noticed, because I've been able to see Facebook, there are some of your colleagues watching.
Yeah.
There are parents watching that are your students, moms and dads are watching. If you could now have that last day, what is your final thoughts to them? Before you all go, I know that myself and First Lady want to thank you for your time. Thank you for your 2 feet of distance. Thank you for your elbow hugs. Thank you for hand sanitizing as they came up. And as you leave, we do not take it lightly that you all saw fit to be here with us.
Yes.
But we also do not take it lightly the job that you have. I know it's both of us as parents of students, the work that you all do. I do not take it lightly. I hugged my daughter's teacher 40 times when she came to bring me homework because my daughter does not do well learning on a computer. So I definitely appreciate you all. I appreciate the work that you do to keep stable minds for these people who have to go back and deal with these kids. I appreciate you for taking the time, even though some people think that an administrator only answers the phone. They have no idea. Sonata knows the name of every kid in her preschool every year. And then they come back and they see her again. She dealt with a preschooler that's now a 4th grader that know her name. Michaela Anderson. So I know my own.
No, outside, she have said everything that I would have said, which is, to say thank you. This was just awesome. Just me listening to the feedback that was just coming up on the, on the Facebook, saying it was great information. For me, if it was 5 people, 2 people, but was saying great information, it was good for me. And that's all I wanted. I wanted the information to get out. And who better, than you all to put the information out. But I just want to say thank you. I know for me, it helped me because I wanted to cry one night sitting at home with Zion, helping Zion do some homework. Because I don't do well with the homework. I don't do well. The way that you all teach the students now is not how I was taught. And I don't know how y'all teach them now.
But she cheated in chapel. Or she wanted to cheat on the test in college, and we were in the chapel. And I was like, I ain't cheating here.
I mean,
Yeah,
we
we went to
lied.
college together. We were college
You see, she done
roommates.
told on you, Jesus. Lord, and I think all your children is watching.
And so now, I mean, I have to repent.
I'm sorry.
Right, I have to
both do.
repent in front of
Amen.
everybody because I did do that. I
Yes, we
did.
did. Not
I
just
did.
our first
I
lady.
did. But that was like a long, long,
matter.
long time ago.
Ain't gotta give them all that.
And
You
I
gonna use?
I didn't graduate.
That's the excuse you gonna use?
Yeah,
It was a long time ago?
yeah. And I thought he probably didn't forgave me.
Did you ask him?
I,
Raise your
Please
hand.
forgive us in the name of Jesus.
Up high. Close your eyes. And say, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
You gotta say,
but thank y'all again. But I don't know how you all do it, and it's such a wealth of knowledge here. Like for instance, Megan, how long you been teaching?
This is my 12th year.
How long you been teaching?
15.
How long you been teaching?
4th year.
Keita.
Oh, man.
the bricks was laid.
I've been in Virginia teaching since 2009, prior to
Keita.
living from, I can't tell you, I can't think.
How long you been teaching? But over 20 years.
Yeah.
And you've been
I've been in the city for 20.
an entrepreneur
I've been in business for myself for 17 years.
17 years. Like, man, this is awesome. This is awesome. This is awesome. So, but helping that kid, I thank God that I have a praying husband. But I thank God that I have women like you that I can call to say, look, I don't know the answer. I don't know how to get this through. But I still thank God for Henrico County Public Schools teachers that I do have that I can call, because I did. I was calling them, emailing them, and they was responding to me. But yeah, they did cut my mic. Yeah, they did.
But she was thanking Henrico County. I'm a Richmond Public School mom myself, so I'm grateful
Yes.
to the access. And I also have 2 kids that are at Cristo Ray and Anna Julia Cooper, who also have been super awesome with resources. And I will shout out Hopewell, Patrick Henry. We got a lot of people in the building. I don't want to start calling names and
Yeah.
people start booing us.
Yeah.
But we want to let you all make way. So if this was your last day, if you could say anything
And-
to your babies or to your colleagues.
Yes.
And after that, we want to say thank
You
you.
can say thank you.
I would say that they know that I love them. My kids do, at least. And I would say that just enjoy this time. We spend so much time in the classroom from September all the way until May, drilling and preparing them for SOL times and my SOL tests. And my favorite time of the year with them is after SOL testing, because you get to do things with them that teaching should be. It should be fun, and I hate that we missed that part of the school year. I wish that we could have that part back, but they know that I love them, and know that when a teacher says, call them if you need help, they really do mean that. So if I am your friend, or if you know me, if you don't, you can ask anyone my information. If it is something that I know how to do, I'm willing to help your child. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
I would just say same thing. I would have given more hugs. I did hug all my students on the way out, but just to not stress and, have fun during this time. We have a little different way at Patrick Henry, so we do get to have a lot of fun. But as you said, that time after testing is the best time, and we usually have trips to celebrate and all those things. So I did miss out on that, but and I've seen most of my students, so they know how I feel, but we have a very relaxed atmosphere even in our classrooms now. So just continue to relax, enjoy this break, be ready when you come back. We're here for you in whatever you need. Be kind to your parents. And just know that we love you and we are here for you in all that you need. And to my colleagues as well, I love you all, and we see each other on Zoom meetings as well. So I'll talk to you all soon.
Well, I'm not a teacher, but all I can say is to your parents, as teachers, when you're talking to them, make sure that they really understand that you mean call me if you need me. That's the secret. A lot of people think everybody don't have the answer. Everybody, oh, you're such a good counselor. No, I'm just there. Sometimes I can stand, they just be talking, and they be like, okay, I'm done. I'm like, good, be good. So it's just being there that will be helping them. So it would just make sure that that'd be a good idea if I can recommend something. If you are willing, you said call me. If you're willing, you said call me. Maybe you can make some type of resource. Then if they have a question, they can contact it. And I'm even saying put myself out there. Put my name down. You can call me if you have a question. Insurance-wise, it's not even about billing. It's about giving you and sending you where you need to be or what your preferences. And that's my recommendation.
And the name of your business again is?
It is All Family Matters, Inc.
Well, my babies know I love them. So, but I miss you all. Again, I agree with everyone else. If you need me, call me. If you just want to say, hey, call me. I miss you all. I miss giving hugs. Miss hearing about your day and what's going on in life. I miss teaching you all. To my team, I miss you all, and I hope all is well.
For me, it would be what I would say on Friday evenings. I love you. Be safe.
To all of my pre-K parents, I'd like to say, let my babies know that I love them. I'll be calling again next week. I'll call all of my students. Remember to go out and register your baby. Mary Scott Preschool, where preschool is real school, home of the rising stars.
All right now.
Hey, plug. So we will see you next Tuesday at 7:30 with Talk to Me with your First Lady and co-pastor.
But look, and all of y'all, we need some
Oprah.
we need some teachers that want to do some virtual learning, teaching some children's church teachers. You know, you could do it from home. You could do it from home for about 30 or 40 minutes. Anybody that want to teach? I love all of y'all.
I was
We
trying
still
to close.
connected.
But she's looking at one person.
Let's Talk Tuesday. See you next week at 7:30.
See you next week. Love y'all.
Peace.
Wow, what a powerful, powerful word. Hope you enjoyed receiving it as much as I enjoyed sharing it. Listen, I want you to make the decision right now. I want you to consider receiving Jesus as Lord of your life. I want you to consider coming into a winning lifestyle. It's real easy. It's real simple. Let's just pray together. Won't you lift your hands and pray this prayer with me? Father God, will you please forgive us for our sins? Will you please forgive us for our trespasses and allow your Holy Spirit to come into us, to sanctify us, and to allow us to become sons and daughters. We believe and receive all through faith in the Master's name of your Son, Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen. Hey, just that easy, just that simple. Praying that prayer, you're on the road to a winning lifestyle. Now I encourage you to get connected with a Bible teaching church and continue this journey. We invite you to consider 3C as the church to connect with. You can connect with us in a couple of ways. You can connect with us out on our website, www.your3c.com. You can connect with us through social media, or you can simply text the word welcome to 804-925-1466. Our motto here at 3C is life is better when we do it together. Listen, I want to ask you to consider helping us accomplish the vision that God has given to us by simply sowing a financial gift into our ministry. Hey, listen, we promise that we're a ministry of integrity. We're putting the monies together to do the work in our community. Here's a couple of ways that you can give. Again, you can go right out to our website, www.your3c.com. Click on giving, and you can give your gift that way, or you can actually text your gift in. You can text 804-409-8687. Make your financial gift there. You'll get receipts immediately. Again, we're a ministry above board, doing things in a good, godly manner. So we invite you to connect. We invite you to give. We invite you to come visit us live. If you think it's good via live stream, you should come check out the whole service. So we hope to meet you real soon. You can visit us on our Henrico campus at 2213 National Street in Henrico, Virginia 23231. Remember, life is better when we do it together. Peace.